Right, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our session on Bodmus Bidmus. I don't really want that black bar at the bottom of the screen, if it can be helped. Okay, let us go through decimals and percentages today, which I know is a favourite of yours. Decimals are a way of describing numbers that are typically smaller than 1, although they can be bigger than 1. So here we've got 3.4, and that is most definitely bigger than 1. That is less than 1. That's less than 1. That's less than 1. That's bigger than 1. So the way of thinking about this is that if it's got a 0 at the front, it's to the right of the decimal point on the place value table. Yeah, this was from the second lesson. If it's above 1, then the number will be to the left of the place value table. What about percentages? I'm trying to remind myself as to what I was going to say there. Never mind. Let's go straight on to what percentages mean. Percent means... Any ideas? Out of 100. So when I say 35%, that actually means 35 over 100. 100%, it's important to know that 100% is the original amount. So those are the two things you need to know about percentages. Percent means out of 100, and 100% is the original amount. So how do we convert or understand what 62% is? Well, it's going to mean 62 out of 100, and then this can be cancelled down. 62 is the same as 2 times 31, and 100 is 2 times 50. 2's can be cancelled. Leaves me with 31 out of 50. Or the other way of thinking about it is to go from a percentage to a decimal. You're moving the decimal point. So if I change the colour here, the decimal point at the moment is here. I'm going to be going 2 places to the left, which would give 0.62. 20%, that's 20 out of 100. 20 is 4 times 5, and 100 is 5 times 20. 5's cancel, gives me 4 out of 20. This is going to be 4 times 1 over 4 times 5. 4's cancel, gives 1/5. So that's what 20% would be as a fraction. If we were to look at it for a decimal, Again, the decimal point is going to be after the last unit. Okay, and we need to move it back, which will give us 0.20 or 0.2. We generally consider this last 0 here as insignificant because there could be any number of zeros after the 2, but it's only that 2 that makes any difference. So I'm going to go through how to convert percentages to decimals, decimals to percentages, and to fractions, etc., etc. So have a good listen at this and have a go with the questions I'm going to give you at the end. So, how do I convert from a percentage to a decimal? This is literally what I was just doing there. 35%, if I put the decimal point after the 5, which is where it is, yeah, to go from a percentage to a decimal, I need to divide by 100. So that means moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. It gives me an answer of 0.35. And this will work in all cases. You need to divide by 100, 2 hops left. What about going from a decimal to a percentage? Well, the key here is to multiply by 100. That means you are going to be hopping 2 places to the right. Gives 6%. So I'll give you another one. Let's say I had 3.4 as a decimal and I wanted to find out what that was as a decimal, as a percentage. I'm going to shift this along twice, which will give me 340%. 340% is 3.4 as a decimal. Right. Hope that's been helpful. Decimal to a fraction. Okay, this one is a bit more tricky. The first thing you've got to do when you want to convert a decimal to a fraction is to write the decimal over 1. Okay. I'm going to change my colour back now to black. How do I write this as a fraction? Well, I need to get rid of the decimal point that's on top. So how am I going to do that? I need to move it to the right. And I can move it to the right by timesing by 10. If I times by 10 on the top and the bottom, I will get 3.5 over 10. But I've still got a decimal on the top. I need to get rid of that decimal point. I need to times by 10 again. And times by 10 again. That will give me 35 over 100. So we now do have a fraction, but it's a very big fraction and I need to cancel it down. So to do that we use our times tables. 35 we should know is 7 times 5. And 100 is 5 times 20. Giving me the answer of 7 over 20. Because the 5 on the top and the bottom can be cancelled. Just like that. So the key to this is to write the decimal over 1, to multiply by 10 until the decimal point disappears, and then to cancel down your fraction. What about a percentage to a fraction? This one's easier. we should know from what I told you earlier that 46% is 46 over 100. And we need to cancel this down, so 46 is 2 times 23. And 100 is 2 times 50. Gives me 23 over 50. Twos cancel. Why will this not cancel down? It's not going to go any further down because this number here is what's known as a prime number. Prime numbers do not cancel down. Why? Because the only factors that go into them are themselves and 1. So for instance, 23 is 23 times 1. You cannot construct that 23 in any other way. I can't say 4 times 6 is 23. That is not true. I can't say that 2 times 11 is 23. I've gotten a bit... It isn't, it's 22. Point is that you're not going to get 23 by using other factors. The only way you're going to get 23 is through 23 and 1. So I'll just nuke that now. Next one is a fraction to a decimal. 3 over 8. How do I do that? Well, what does this mean? This means 3 divided by 8. And that means we need short division. 8 into 3. Does 8 go into 3? No, it doesn't. Decimal points down, and we now need 8 into 30. How many times does 8 go into 30? 8, 16, 24, 32. So it only goes in 3 times with 6 remainder. 8 into 60. 8 times table. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56. So counting on my fingers, there's 7 there. 7 eighths are 56. Gives me a remainder of 4. And 8 goes into 40 5 times. So the answer to that is 0.375. Fraction to percentage. So in exactly the same way as decimal to percentage, you have to multiply by 100 to manage that. And there's a couple of ways of doing this. Yeah, let's break this down a bit more. I need to break that 12 down because when you multiply this together, you're getting 5 times 100. And then 12 is 2 times 6, perhaps. Yeah, let's say it's 2 times 6. I need to really get rid of that 2. I could make this a little bit easier on myself and say, well, 6 is the same as 2 times 3. And 100, well, that's the same as 5 times 2 times 2 times 25. So these 2's will cancel with the 2's on the bottom. And I've got 5 times 25 over 3. 5 times 25 is 125. Let's do a little short division. 3 into 125. Does 3 go into 1? No. Does it go into 12? It goes in 4 times. Does 3 go into 5? Yes, it goes once. And we got a decimal point. 0 comes in here. What was the remainder? It would be 2. 3 into 20 goes 6 times. Remainder 2. 3 6s are 18. 3 into 20 goes 6. Remainder 2. So here we have our recurring decimal. The answer here is 41.6 recurring percent. Sorry for having to squeeze that percentage in there on the end, but that's how we do it. I hope that's been self-explanatory there. We're going to come to this type of question again later, but you need to think of what happens when you multiply the 100. The 100 will multiply by what's on top, and then you can cancel down to make life easier. Alternatively, you could just say, well, it's 500 over 12, and I could do 12 into 500 straight away, like that. And that will give you the 41.6. 12 into 50 goes 4 times with 2 remainder. 12 into 20 goes once, decimal point, with 8 remainder. 12 into 80 goes 6 times with 8 remainder, and it will continue. Okay, so it works whichever way round you do it. I was just trying to make the numbers a little bit more simple for you. This is where things work. It's important to know this, because when you're working out the percentage of a quantity, the same thing applies as what we were just doing. So, percent means out of 100. So I can write underneath here 30 over 100. And I can write $350 here. That doesn't change. What does change is this word. Any ideas what of means? Of means multiply. So, the way I'm going to tackle this is to try and break this down a little bit. So 30 is 3 times 10. 100 is 10 times 10. And then I'm multiplying, all on the top, by 350, which is 35 times 10. So I've just literally rewritten that problem a slightly different way, breaking them down in terms of their times tables. Let's cancel now. A 10 on the top and a 10 on the bottom will disappear. A 10 on the bottom and a 10 on the top will disappear. Gives me an answer of 3 times 35. 35 times 3. 5 3s are 15. 3 3s are 9, plus the 1 is 10. Answer $105. So at this point I'd like to tell you a little story about the other line of work that I've been involved with in the past. which was that of a mobile DJ. One of the best gigs that I ever did was for a construction company at a Christmas party. Had a fantastic evening, everyone enjoyed themselves, and at the end of the night they gave me a 50% tip. Absolutely amazed by it. Such lovely people, and it was, really fantastic to have that amount of tip, and was very grateful to them for it. Conversely, the opposite type of party can occur, and the one that springs to mind was a wedding I did a couple of years ago. I was working for less than I would normally charge for that event. The bride and groom at the event were very wealthy. They'd stuck $5,000 behind the bar for people to get drunk throughout the evening. And at the end of the night, when I was told by the venue to stop the music, one of the guests came up, pushed me out the way, and started playing more music with my equipment, which I felt was really wrong, to be honest. But therein lies the problem. I felt that I was treated really badly. I should have been tipped, but wasn't. So I don't know. There is no real hard and fast rule for tipping properly. 20%, I believe, is what you're intended to give. Doctors, lawyers, accountants, they tip at 20%, but I don't want you to feel that that's a hard and fast rule. If you feel that you've had an excellent service and you want to tip more than 20%, you should feel that you're happy to do that, and not worry about what convention is. I know it's harsh coming from the lesson I did with you last time on Bodmas, talking all about convention. But at the end of the day, you've got to make the decision, and it's a qualitative judgment rather than a quantitative one, if you understand the difference between the two. But think about it. Quality should dictate the size of tip, not the quantity. Moving on. Percentage increase and decrease. Increase $350 by 30%. Right, so there are two ways of doing this. In fact, actually, because we did 30% here, I'm going to change that slightly. Let's make that 20%. Okay, so there are two methods for doing this. The first one is to say, well, 100% is $350. In fact, that is true in both methods. So I'm going to cut and paste that. It's a bit slow today, my computer. And if I want to increase it, well, I'm going to need to know what 10% is. So to go from 100% to 10%, I divide by 10. And I divide this by 10. That will give me $35. 20%. You need to multiply by 2. This will give me $70. And then to work out the amount that you're going to get, it will be $350 plus $70 gives you $420. That's the easiest way of doing it, and it's probably the right way for someone who's not strong and confident with math to get that answer. There is another way, and it's important you know this way because it's more helpful when it comes to unusual amounts and with compound interest. Something that I'm not going to get into here, but you do need to know the other method. So if I want to increase this by 20%, I just need to add on 20%. That will give me 120%. Okay, but what does 120% mean? It means 120 over 100. Yeah, because percent means out of 100. And the decimal point at the moment is here at the end. So if I'm dividing by 100, I'm shifting this decimal point back 2 places, which would give me 1.2. So I hope you followed me so far with that. I've changed that 120% into a decimal. And then you just simply do, well, 350 times 1.2. On your calculator, that will give you the $420 straight away. Similar deal. Again, I'm going to change the number here. Let's go for 35%. Let's make things a little bit more tricky. I'm going to give you the opportunity to do this on your own. Pause the video and have a go. If not, we'll come back. Right, so 100% is $350. 10% is 35. How? You're dividing by 10. Dividing by 10. What else am I going to need? I'm going to need 5%. So how do I get from 10% to 5%? I'm going to divide by 2. And then divide by 2. That will give me 1750, I believe. So if I want 35%, I'm going to be adding 3 lots of $35 and $17.50 on. So 5 times 3 will give me 30%. 3 5s are 15, carry a 1. 3 3s are 9, plus 1, 10. If I add on the 5%, 17.50. There's 50 cents. That's 35%. 7 and 5 is 12, so 2 down, carry a 1. 1 and 1 and 0 makes 2, and then 1. So we're looking at $122.50 needs to be added on to that 350. $50, 2, 7, 4. $472.50. So I think you can see now that there's a lot going on here. And of course I have gone and goofed. What does the question say? The question does not say increase, it says decrease. So I shouldn't have been adding that 122.50. Please ignore me. That should have been subtraction. Ah dear. Right, so time to do this. I'm borrowing here, borrowing here, 5, 7, 4 take 2 is 2, 3 take 1 is 2. $227.50. So as you can see, there's a lot going on here with the first method when you change the numbers around. The second method actually is a little bit more simpler. We know that 100% is 350. I'm going to be subtracting 35%. That will give me 65%. Which is 0.65. Using the method I showed you to convert between a percentage and a decimal, the decimal point comes back 2 places. So I just take my 0.65 now and multiply by 350. Again, using a calculator, this will give you the 227.50. So it depends on the numbers as to which method is easier. I personally have gravitated towards method number 2, but it's going to take you some time to get used to doing that. This one is the way that most people think. It's the first method rather than the second one. Right, so I want to have a look at reverse percentages, and this will give you the opportunity to have a go at these. If you'd like to have a go, please stop the video. If not, I'm going to go through it now. A TV is reduced to $500 in a sale with 20% off. What was the original price? So, we know that the original price is 100%. It always is going to be the original amount. If we take off 20%, that gives us 80%. So 80% of the original price is the $500 that it's telling us. Yeah? $500 is the sale price. So how do I work out, given the sale price, the original price? Well, the way I like teaching this is to find out what 1% is. How do I get from 80% to 1%? I need to divide by 80. But I can't just do it on the right hand side, I've got to do it here as well. So if I divide this by 80, and this is where the calculator comes out, I've got it over here. Gives me 6.25. So I know that 1% of the original price was $6.25. I need to find out though what 100% is, which means I have to multiply by 100 and multiply this by 100. gives me $625, which is the original cost. Okay. Here's another example. Again, pause the video if you'd like to have a go. But I'm pretty sure you should be able to do it now. I've shown you one example. A hat is reduced in price to $40. The discount was 15%. What was the original price? Okay, so 100% is the original. Minus 15%. 85%. $40. And this is the sale price. I need to find out what 1% is. So I'm dividing by 85. Divide by 85. And that gives us a horrendous number. 0.47058 dot 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 dot. It goes on forever. I need to find out what 100% is. So I'm timesing up here by 100. And I'm doing the same here by 100. This will give me $47.06. Why? Well, you have to look at the decimal above. If I move the decimal point along 2 spots, it goes in there. Yeah, 47.05. But I say that the answer is 47.06. Why? Because that 5 will round up due to that 8. So there's a rule in math that if you have a number that's bigger than 5, it will round the previous number up 1. So the 5 will become a 6. If that 8 was a 4, so say it was 0.54, because the 4 there was less than 5, it would stay as 5. So that's basic rounding. 47.06. Okay. Last thing I want to cover is percentage change. So the percentage change is the change over the original amount. I've got a couple of examples for you here of this. Have a go if you'd like, but the formula to do it is there in that box. Okay, so I've got an original price and I've got a sale price. The original price is $400, the sale price is $325. To work out the change, I am going to do 400 minus 325, which gives me 75. Okay, and then I'm going to put into my formula percentage change equals 75 over my original, which was 400, and times by 100. 400, well, that's the same as 4 times 100, which means the zeros will cancel. So I've got 75 times 1 over 4, which is 75 over 4. I need to divide this number by 4. So 4 into 75. 4 into 7 goes once, remainder 3. 4 into 35 goes 4 eighths are 32. Decimal points go in, 0 comes in. 4 eighths are 32, 3 remainder. 4 into 30. Well, I should know that 4 sevens make 28 with 2 remainder. And then I'm doing 4 into 20 is 5. So I know that the percentage change here is 18.75%. So it's an 18.75% reduction from $400 to $325. Here's one more for you. I'll go through it in a moment. Right, so the change is going to be 150 minus 100 gives you 50. So the change, percentage change, is 50 over 150 multiplied by 100. What cancels? Well, there's a 0 there that will cancel with that. This will give me 500 over 15. Now both of these numbers are divisible by 5. So if I was to divide 500 by 5, I would get 100. And if I was to divide 15 by 5, I would get 3. And if I was to do 100 divided by 3, I will get 33.3 recurring percent as my percentage change. I hope you found this useful. There's some questions in the content and the links below. Again, tipping. What can I say to you with regards to it? Literally, forget the fact that the convention is 20%. You should tip what you feel comfortable with. If you have a good service, don't worry about tipping more. And if you feel you've had bad service, then feel free to basically walk away and not do anything. Anyway, I'm calling it a day there. I will see you on the next one.